just trying to rekindle and hope so. And as for to the sisters of the order who are mothers, definitely wishing you particular show us too many times that we allow other people to influence us in Freemasonry, and in the process of doing that, it takes a lot out of us. So once again, I want to welcome everybody aboard tonight. So today we're going to talk about Freemasonry. Is it an occult? But I want to question some things that we tend to just bypass. We don't really think about it, and that is most of us. Why do we join the organization? As a matter of fact, through the initiation process for which Masons go through. I mean, where did it come from? Okay, why do we go through it? All Masons around the world, the fraternal order of Freemasons around the world, go through this same ritual. Every man chooses his own reason for going through it, but why do we proceed to go through these ritualistic rites of passage as men? We're already men. Most of us are over 21 who are Freemasons, and we're already living this life. But why do we choose to go through this ritualistic course of Freemasonry? Is it because we feel that there's more out there? Or is it, what are we in search of when we do this thing? Not based on whether your father or your mother was an Eastern Star, your father being a Mason, but why do you choose to go that route? Not even based upon the fact that other individuals may have influenced you because they was in your community and you seen them dress in a black and white suit or an all white dress and go to these meetings. But why do individuals choose year after year to become a Mason? Okay, let's remove the party aspect away from it. I'm talking the true essence and purity of Freemasonry and what it is all about. I did a video not long ago, a show called "The Required." What is required of a Mason. So we're gonna touch on that a little bit. But I'm looking at the teachings and the esoteric teachings and the occult teachings, because there are some very similarities in there. But I don't know how many of us ever really go deep into it to see the similarities or see exactly where Masonry is trying to take us, or even the philosophy behind it. What pulls men and women into this thing that we love so dearly. And we're going to touch upon those things tonight. So the call-in number once again tonight is going to be 619-985-1184 is the call-in number. If you want to call into the show, you're certainly welcome to do so. It's really open to those who are Masons and Eastern Stars and those who are not. So greetings to everybody who's coming on tonight. And we're going to get into this because there are some of us who really indulge ourselves in the study of Freemasonry and what it's all about. And we have moved on from the bickering of the other side of Freemasonry, but we're talking about the true essence of Freemasonry and how it's supposed to be impressed upon the members. And then even that, why when you bring new members in, they don't last long, they don't stay long. What is it that brought them, and what is it that pushed them away? And in saying that, I'm tonight looking into a couple of things. One is the esoteric teachings and the esoteric or occult teachings per se. And I say that because I encourage everyone to pick up various books on Freemasonry, throw out the bone. Just like eating a piece of chicken, you're going to eat the meat and throw out the bone. So this is what you do when you read certain information. Okay, you don't want to eat everything because everything is not good to eat. Even though some things may taste good, but it makes you sick in the end, just as information does for us. So I just want to have a glimpse into the esoteric and the occult teachings. And you may say, what, occult teachings, Masonry and occult teachings? Yeah, you ain't been hip to that yet. Come on now, you have got to be hip to that. If you ain't hip to that, then I don't know what to say for you, but you have to be hip to that. So once again, that call-in number, if you're up tonight on the East Coast or West Coast, that number is 619-985-1184. And we're about to get down with this tonight because I really want to just take a real good look at this thing. Greetings, everybody who's coming on. Malcolm Prophet, great to have you aboard again. I appreciate it. Brother Lewis, welcome aboard. And I'm going to say this here. Brother Lewis he has me thinking about a lot of different stuff that comes down the pike. And I want to say I appreciate that because you get me thinking. Brother Brian, I appreciate you coming on. Christopher, thank you for coming on. For those sisters of the order who are coming on, Jonathan G, thank you for showing up tonight. I appreciate you. We're just going to talk about some of those things in Freemasonry that makes you go, And even and here's the big thing. Have you ever picked up a book on Freemason that made you go, Made you really think about the organization that you say that you love, that you are part of? Have you done that for yourself? And I only say that because I know I have. And I'm gonna tell you a story that happened to me when I first became a Mason. When I first became a Mason, and it was interesting. I had to actually go back and review some things. I say that I'm laughing now. But when it first happened to me, I had to go back and rethink. I really did, and I did that. So in saying that, when I first joined the Fraternal Order of Freemasons, right? Yes, Brother Jonathan G, that's a yes to you. When I first joined Freemasonry some years ago, I was talking with a brother, and great conversation. He convinced me. I mean, literally, I allowed him to convince me that Freemasonry was this boogie man type of organization. He did that. I mean, literally, I quit. I mean, I believe I just become a master mason. I just become a master mason, had my ring on and everything. I'm at work. He looked, he said, "Oh, you're a mason?" I was like, "Yeah." I was proud, young buck, proud. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a mason." It's like, "Man, why are you a part of that occult organization? Do you know what you're a part of?" And I'm like thinking, like, "Yeah, it's a brotherhood. Yeah, it's the first thing that came out of my, oh yeah, it's a brotherhood. Unity, love, charity, yeah." He's like, "No, brother, you're a part of an occult, man. They do sacrifices." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "No, you ain't high enough yet. You ain't high enough." I'm like, "Wow, really?" It's like, "Man, they do some stuff, bro. They do some strange things." I'm like, "Man, where you getting this information from? Brother, you got to go research the organ. You a part of it, you don't research." I was like, "Oh, man, So I was kind of disappointed. So I took my ring off. Literally, I tossed it. I was like, "Oh, I don't want to be part of that." But after a little while of conversating with my mother, she was like, "Son," she asked me some very interesting questions, and one was, have they asked you to deny the God that you believe in? I said, "No." She said, "Have they caused you any harm?" I said, "No." "Have they told you to go against anything that you believe?" I said, "No." She said, "Why are you quitting an organization that you say that you like and you enjoy?" I was like, "Wow." I said, "Mom, but the guy said," she said, "But is that guy a part of the organization for him to tell you that it's an occult, that is this and that is that?" I was like, "No." She's like, "Well, you're a part of the organization." I had to rethink that. I had to literally get at some serious thought because it was like that wow moment, that ooh wee moment. And I would say the same thing probably happens to some of the sisters. And I know that some of the churches do not allow their members to be part of the Masons or Eastern Star. It is a big no-no. It is definitely a big no-no. So tonight we're going to talk about Masonry as far as it being its teachings, as far as it esoteric versus or esoteric or occult teachings. And let me add this to you. Okay, so we know about about Joseph Smith, right? Joseph Smith um, was a Mormon. He was the founder of the Mormon, right? Of the Mormons religion as we know it today. And in the Mormons religion, it was that their teaching is this: there was a war in heaven, and that those who took sides with God were white, and those who took sides with Satan was black. That's just, I'm just giving you a synopsis, a short version of it. But if you go read their original history of their, and let's not forget that Joseph Smith himself was a Mason. Now, what he did was taking some of the very essence of Freemasonry all the way up and incorporated that into Mormon. Oh, you don't think so? Oh yeah. The number to call in tonight is 619-985-1184. You can call in and have that conversation tonight. But yeah, absolutely, that he did. He did do that. And the reason I know, because I've talked to people who are actually Mormons, and I've listened to them in regards to the different heavenly rams that they talk about. And they talk about, the initiation. They talk about, what it takes to become so high in Mormonism. It's very interesting. So once again, tonight we're talking about the esoteric teachings and the occult teachings. Is that involved? Is Freemasonry involved in occult teachings? Is it or is it not? So I'd like to hear from you tonight, 619-985-1184. So if you got some questions you want to ask, if you just want to get on and see what it's all about, the cup. Yeah, I had a cup tonight, bro. I have the cup tonight. Yes, I do have the cup. Yeah, so this brother asking about the cup. If you want to get a cup, you got to hit me up, and we'll make sure you get a cup, all right? We'll make sure you get a cup. No, according to research I am across, Joseph Smith is the founder of, okay, my apologies. Joseph Smith's founder of the Jehovah's Witness. My apologies to anybody. That's bad information. I apologize in regards to that. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate you pointing it out to me. Malcolm Prophet, if that is true, his father and brothers were Masons. I am a Mormon, probably Latter-day Saints. Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you for pointing it out to me there, Malcolm Prophet. I appreciate it. And we all learning on this thing. What I was saying is that it in its teachings, it has the Masonic element in it. Okay, that's really what I want to get across. But Malcolm Prophet, I appreciate you for pointing that out, brother. I really do. And as we go into this subject tonight, like I said, it's open phone lines tonight, 619-985, or occult teachings. Does Freemasonry have an occult teachings in it? Okay. All right, I'm getting two things going on here tonight. I was correct? Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Vincent Gilmore, I appreciate you. Thank you. Joseph Smith is not the founder of the Mormonism. Okay, well, we're going to leave it alone. We just keep going back and forth. I see everybody's coming up and showing me different things. But I'm just saying, in regards to some of the teachings, has Masonic elements in it. And at times that can become occult-issues. That's a new word, occult-issues. that can kind of draw into the occult side of things. And in Mormon, and when I'm speaking in regards to Mormons, not Jehovah's Witnesses, I'm talking specifically about the Mormons, that it has the Masonic element in it. It has a lot of the Masonic element in it. That I do know as a fact. That is true. In saying that, and it is incorporated like it is, this is where some people may find that Freemasonry is an occult because of that. And that's a fact. That is just not my opinion, but that is factual. Because of the Masonic element that is involved with Mormonism, people see it from that point of view. It is just what it is. Joseph Smith is not the founder of Mormonism. Okay. All right. Thank you there, Jonathan G. I appreciate it. And the square and compass is on his headstone. I mean, he's the founder. Okay. All right. All right. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Masonry is not for no sissies. Absolutely. It is not. And this is the thing when I speak about it a lot of times in regards to the appending degrees. Okay, so look, I know many of you have this book right here, right? This book right here is the Moors and Dogma. You know what? I don't too much. I've heard a lot about Albert Pike being a member of the KKK and all of that. You know, he was what he was. He's dead and gone. But the writings that he did is you cannot say that the writings are not great writings. This book is a good book when it comes to breaking down the degrees and a lot of different things that he actually put into it, because he rewrote some of the degrees. Yes, Albert Pike rewrote some of the degrees, and I will give him some credit. The brother did an excellent job as far as that is concerned. And this is really what a lot of people call the Bible per se of Freemasonry. But it deals with a lot of appending bodies of Freemasonry. And I don't know how many of us ever go back and look at some of those, what we would call Scottish Rite degrees, especially, and see that it deals with a lot of things, Egyptians initiations, okay? The initiation on the Scottish Rite side deals with a lot of Egyptians initiations from this book here. If you read it, it actually breaks it down. It talks about Osiris, and it talks about Seth, and it talks about all of that. And he breaks it down pretty good. You know, nobody has never debated that. He talks about Egypt. He talks about Africa. He even has some of the things from the Book of the Dead in it. So when you look at this, do you now, that's really what it's all about. Did Brigham Young come into play? Oh, I haven't even gotten on that one, but we know what they say about Brigham Young, right? It's run by the Mormons. Yeah, it is run by the Mormons. Brigham Young is run by the Mormons. That's where they get their finances from. Pike even created a female right called the Right of Adoption, or Adopt the Rights. You can get it on Amazon. Well, he did, but he didn't. And let me say why, Jonathan G. The rights of adoption is actually the Order of the Eastern Star, okay? However, he had his influence on it. I won't deny that he did not have his influence. Well, maybe he could have rewritten some a ritual or something like that. But the rights of adoption of the Order of the Eastern Star is actually a French rite. It was actually brought over by Robert, what is his name? I can't think of the founder of the Order of the Eastern Star right now. He actually brought that right from France, because you must know that France is one of the most liberal countries in the world, okay? They are. And that's where the Eastern Stars actually get its start from, because it used to be called the Symbolic Lodge. But when he brought the rights back over, he changed it. He called it the Order, and it wasn't really something that people wanted to get involved with. But since a lot of men were going to these meetings, it was only beneficiary that the daughters and the wives and the mothers had something to participate in that connected them. This is why we all know that at one time, and I've said it before, that this had to be in the bloodline. This was a bloodline organization. Yes, Freemasonry was at one time a bloodline organization. Yes, it was. And in some cases, some may still practice that. I don't know. But I do know that Freemasonry at one time was a bloodline organization. You had to have it in your family. Period. It had to be somebody in your family had to be connected in order for you to become an Eastern Star or even a Mason in some cases. That's the truth. So look, I think I got a pretty good reception now, Brother Terrell. I was breaking up. But you can definitely hit me up tonight, 619-286-0642. Why black people love joining white shit. Oh, who said that? I'm reading this. It didn't show up. I'm not going to let that one show up. It is not. I'm gonna answer that question. It is not that black people love to join white shit as you say so. But let me break this down. Freemasonry is not a white organization. Okay, let's clearly have some understanding on that. Now, Americanized Freemasonry, as I like to call it, its standards is based upon white Masons at one time, but the ideal is that those who are educated in Freemasons, they understand the true concept of it. Okay, I'm talking about for those who actually go study the craft. I'm not talking about a person who gets initiated, passed, and raised, and they think they're part of some fun organization. I'm talking about Freemason for men, not as one person put it, the sissies. No, I'm not talking about that. Young Namer, 1K. That I'm, you know what? I'm gonna show this. I'm gonna go ahead and let that show. Okay, I'm gonna let that show. If you are a troll tonight, you will be dismissed. You know, if you hear trolling. All right, Alex, appreciate you coming on. How you doing? Freemasonry is ancient African knowledge. Absolutely, it is. But what has happened to this ancient African knowledge, which was definitely hidden from us, and nobody wanted us to be part of it, and we all know that. A lot of us don't study that. A lot of us don't see that because, as this young man put it, we feel that if it's not coming from another group of individual or people, then it ain't right. And I agree with him on some of that, what he said, you know, and it has some truth to it. I've seen it personally in my life. You know, you get two African American males going at it, strong conversation, and you have someone else of, you know what I'm saying, Caucasian, come up, interject in the conversation. And if he agrees with one, then the other one looks like, wow, really, you know. So we know how the game is being played. The ideal is how you're going to play the game. The ideal is what you're going to do about it. If you know that they're running a play and you know how the play is being ran, what are you going to do about? Oh, now what you going to do with this? What are we as Masons going to do with this so-called knowledge that we have in regards to making a good man better, in regards to raising a man, okay, in regards to giving him intelligence, or not giving him intelligence, but giving him knowledge that's going to help him along his way in life? What are you going to do with this besides sit on it? Besides go back and forth over something that happened many moons ago? What do you do with this information, Masons and Eastern Stars? You know, this teachings that is so close to being occult teachings, and it is very close. What do you do with it? And you know, that's the question. What do you do with it? Because I will tell you this, and I'm quite sure many of you know who actually indulge themselves in Masonry. And I keep saying that because there's a few of you who are on here tonight that I speak to often, and I know that you have various books and you've sent me pictures, and you really, I mean, you get down with the get down. You know, you don't let a lot of people know because some people can't handle the conversation. Let's just be honest. Some people can't handle the conversation that you will bring to them in regards to Freemasonry if they wanted to have guaranteed. So if you want to call in tonight, you're certainly welcome to do so. The number is 619-985-1184. So you're certainly welcome to do that. Call in tonight's show. Young, what is his name? I think his name was Young something or another. I don't see his Young Namer. 1K. If you want to call in, you're certainly welcome to do so. But if you're a troll, you're going to be dismissed. I'm just saying, if you're just trolling tonight, you're just going to be dismissed. So we're going to leave it at that. All right? We're going to leave it at that. 1184. Boom. Oh, I got 118R. Let me get rid of that. Yeah, that's 1184 if anybody want to call into the show tonight. Okay? That number again is 619 985 1184. There you go. All right, there's the correct number up there tonight. So let me get my book back here. So let's take a look at one of these degrees that is very interesting. Okay, we're going to take a look at something. All right. Okay, let's look at the perfect master. Have anybody ever took a look at the perfect master degree in that we go through, or if you've gone through it, that perfect master? Why do they call it the perfect master degree? Let's just take a look at it. Even it says, even if you've gone through that perfect master degree, it says in there, let no man break your promise, or let nothing break your promise, okay? Unless it is unlawful or impossible, that is either out of your nature or not of your civic power, yourself being under that power. Listen to me again. This is in the perfect master degree. It says, let nothing make you break your promise unless it is unlawful or impossible, that it is either out of your nature or out of your civic power. Okay? Yourself being under that power. That's deep. And I say it's deep because in Masonry, as we go through it and say these obligations and things like that, it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. As you know, when you become a fellow craft, you have a double tie. Master Mason, you got triple ties. When you go to the Royal Arch side and in the past master, mark master, most excellent master, super excellent master, then you go into the I want to say Cypress degree. I think it's a Cypress degree. I think so. Then you had the Knights of Malta, the Knights of Templar, the Knights of Kadash, all the Knights, And then when you get to the top, you have to know that the Knights Templar 33rd is equal to the Scottish Rite. Okay? No, is it 32nd? I'm sorry, my apologies. The Knights Templar is equal to the Sublime Prince, one being on one side and the other being on the opposite side. That's right. I'm going to say it again. The Knights Templar, okay, is equal to the 32nd degree. One being on the York Rite side, one being on the Scottish Rite side. That's a fact. You can look it up for yourself. You don't have to take my word for it. You can do all of that yourself. And then come back to me and say, no, you're wrong, and this is the reason why. And we can have a dialogue or conversation. It's never that serious to where we have to get into some deep argument over the philosophy or teachings or something involved with Freemasonry. It's all about education. It's all about enlightening one another on what we have found in Freemasonry. Okay, that's really what it's all about. All right, so check this out. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go down a little bit more. Okay. Okay, so here's something that I think is interesting to you. Okay, let me see. That any man should be the worst for us, and for a direct act, and by our intentions, and it against the rules of equality, of justice, and of charity. So for what are they trying to teach us, and what are they trying to bring forth to us? Because I believe that a lot of times that is what's has probably hit the inner Prince Fellowcraft Master Mason. But after that, have you really been initiated into some of these degrees? Have you? Now I do know that in some cases, in some jurisdictions, what they would do, they would actually put on a play. Okay, they would actually put on a play. I do know that. And in the process of putting on a play, that will show you how the initiation is supposed to go. That's just the fact of the matter. Some brothers never really get initiated into all of the degree works. They don't. They watch a play. They show some type of movie. They do. Trust me on that. That's a fact. If you're a mainstream Mason or whatever, Prince Hall, John G. Jones, whatever name you want to give it, most of us never get initiated into all of those degrees. If I'm lying, tell me you're lying. You can call me up and tell me I'm lying. It's just the truth. But a lot of us do study those degrees. A lot of us do. And I've come across brothers who have actually studied the degrees. And in the process, they have even questioned themselves of why they are a part of the organization because of the degrees that they have studied. Okay? And like even in the elect of the 15, okay, the triple arc, the elect of the 15, the triple arc, okay, even in that degree, it says toleration, holding that every other man has the same right, his opinion and faith that we have to ours, and the liberation or liberties, holding that as a human being can and with certainty say in the clash, in conflict of hostility, faith and creed, what is truth, or that he is surely in possession of it. So everyone should feel that it is quite possible that another equally honest and sincere person with himself and yet holding contrary opinions may himself be in possession of truth. Meaning to say, this is I like this because it's simply saying in that particular degree that if I have my truth, my facts, you have your truth and your facts, we're going to disagree. But once we sit down and talk and have that conversation, we're going to be more than likely on the same line. We are. I mean, but how many of us, like I said, actually go into the works to find out, okay, so what is this thing we call Freemasonry? Is it close to occult teachings? And I guarantee you, once you get into this book right here, you're going to feel that way. In this book, you're going to feel that way. And it's just that simple because that book talks about a whole lot that most of us don't even get into in our Masonic meanings, even if it's in the EA degree. Okay, we just don't get into it because that book right there, and I give it credit. I give it credit. It breaks down a lot of stuff you just don't get in your regular Blue Lodge meetings. You don't. And even in some of the appending bodies, you don't even study as you should in these appending degrees. We don't. And it's truth. But in the process, you should. You should actually take your time, go and indulge yourself and find out about those appending bodies, those appending degrees. Stop worrying about, oh, I want to become a Shriner. I want to go to the Playhouse. The Shriner, it gets even serious. It gets more in depth, okay? The Shriners is not a playhouse for anything. But that's how we see it because that's what we've been told. You know, Freemasonry is not a club, okay? It is not that where I'm going to go party. I know a lot of us get ready for grand session. We have a great time. But that is the time, in my own personal opinion, and what we try to do here is definitely instill in the members our teachings and the expectations upon each individual. My past Grandmaster, Michael P. McCullough, used to always ask this question when we go to grand session. Why are you here? He always asked that question. In 4 years that he served as Grand Master, he would come to every session and ask the questions of various members. He would point them out. Why are you here? And he would want to hear your explanation. So, once again, if you want to call into the show, you definitely can. Lucifer, Playground. Okay, you're gonna have to break that one down to me, babe. Yeah, babe, you're gonna have to hit me with that one. Peace to everybody. I'm sorry about that number that I put up earlier right here. That is 619-985-1184, okay? That number, if you want to call in tonight, you're certainly welcome to do so. So we're talking about the unlikeness of the esoteric or occult teachings that Freemasonry may have. And I will say this, that we know that Mormonism have some of the teachings of Freemasonry in it. And this is why at times some people may consider it to be an occult. Oh yeah. And just to piggyback off of that, if you are a minister per se, and I know some are, I was told, one brother made sure that your initiation into Freemasonry is different than the average person coming into Freemasonry. It is, and it should be. I'm going to say this again. If you are a minister and you are a Freemason, your initiation should have been different than those of the common person. Plain and simple. And you may even want to question why. Why was it? You know, no troll, no. All right. You know, you may want to ask yourself, why was it? Why was the minister initiation into Freemasonry different than anybody else's? I'll leave that for another show, but that's a great question. And we really have to consider that, since Masons regards no man for his religious beliefs, right? So ask yourself, why was the initiation, or why is the initiation for a minister different than anybody else? Greetings once again for everybody that's coming on. Please do me a favor and hit the like button. You know, YouTube has this thing about, they do this fluctuating things and points and where you're at and all that stuff. And, you know, one brother told me, he said, Hawkins, you got to tell them to hit the like button, brother. So I'm telling you, hit the like button, a thumb up button or whatever. Hit that button. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah, hit that button. You know, Brother Jackson, welcome aboard. I know it's mainstream Mason that just went for a Royal Arch to a 32nd in one day. A 32nd, you say what did he go? He went from Royal Arch to 32nd in one day. That's a hell of a class he took. And just to say that, you know, that's how they do it. It's no disrespect, but that's how they do it. And I'll tell you this here. I have learned to respect a jurisdiction and how they do their membership. Whatever they do for them and it works, that's their business. This is why I often say stay out the bushes and keep your light on. How another jurisdiction operates, right? And it works for them. That's their business. That's how they do it. And if it works for them, it works for them. But the teachings of Freemasonry should not really change much, because the recognition, as far as Masons are concerned, never changes. The recognition amongst Masons never change. All right? Never change. Harmon Biff is the resurrection of Jesus Christ. When you look at the 12 celestial bodies surrounded by the sun, you start to correlate those specific bodies with the frame and times of the Royal Ark. Very interesting. That's interesting. That's a different look. And I will agree with you as far as Jesus Christ being Harmon Biff, or Harmon Biff being Jesus Christ from that point of view. But you can take Jesus out of it and put any deity you want to in that same place. This is why, once again, Freemasonry doesn't put a name to deity. It does not. Okay? Freemasonry does not put a name to deity. And this is what separates a lot of Masonic jurisdiction. I would tell you this, and I've said it before. If you go to other jurisdictions and visit, and they're celebrating what we would consider St. John's Day, it will be totally different than most African American lodges or grand lodges for how they're celebrating it. Most African American grand lodges and lodges go to church. It's a church event. Okay? It is. But what I've learned in my visitation to other jurisdictions, it is not meant to be that way. And there's no disclaimer towards any other jurisdiction. But what I'm saying is, when you look at the true essence of Freemasonry and the esoteric teachings within Freemasonry, there are hidden meanings behind St. John's, the Baptist and St. John's, the Adventist, Angeles. One is summer sorceress. I'm mispronouncing that word. Somebody help me out with it. And one is dealing with the winter sorceress, a sorceress. I'm mispronouncing that word. Somebody help me out with it. But one deals with winter, which is death, and one deals with summer, which is life. I got that right. That's that. I got that part right. One deals with a death and one deals with a resurrection. Now that part I do know. So with that being said, thank you, Brother Mike Lowry. I appreciate it. With that being said, so in the process of me visiting during this time, what they did, this is what they did. They celebrated during the winter time. They celebrated the death. Where if you're planting crops, you can't plant crops. You can't grow anything during the winter time. You can't. Bees don't come out during the winter time. All right. This is all esoteric. So in the winter time represents death, dying. All right. Now, as the earth begins to rotate around the sun, it begins to gradually move its axle 1, maybe 2 degrees thereabouts. And you can see that the daylight, okay, as you get closer to Christmas, the time begins to actually change a little bit, okay? And then when you get close to Christmas, you will find out that the sun, okay, if you look at it from a different point of view, depends on where you're at on this planet, is either up a little longer or down sooner. Okay, which means that summer is getting ready to come. Okay, so now you're getting ready to go into the resurrection, and even in Scripture, that's all relying on Scripture. See, even Scripture, when you get into it, be it New or Old Testament, is really allegories and stories and esoteric teachings. Hear me clearly. When you get into the teachings, the Bible, okay, not the slave Bible. Because there's a slave Bible. I just found this out. I was oh my God. Oh man, they've really done a number on us. This country has really done a number on us. Oh my God. I'm gonna come back to that. But after discovering that there was a slave Bible, okay, it was actually a slave Bible, reading the Bible that was written before King James, because there was one actually written before King James version, you will find that out. Allegories and stories, okay? Allegories and stories. Now, once you begin to put these allegories and stories and things together, you would see that it's teaching you about life and about astrology. All of that plays a part in it. Every picture that you see of the Christ, of the Messiah, has a sun behind him. Why does it have a sun behind him? Because without the sun, there is no life. This is why even the Scripture says, and it says, no one comes to the Father, no one comes to the Son unless no one can see the Father unless they go through the Son. Somebody straighten me up a little bit on that. I don't mean, you can call me or you can put it on the chat. Straighten me up a little bit on that, all right? Because I'm close to it, but that's not exactly what it says. And I don't want to give you bad information, but that's not exactly what it says. No one comes to the Father except by the Son. Thank you very much. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, that is exactly what I'm talking about. So in every picture you see, you will see a sun behind the Messiah. Okay, you will see that. All right. Now the question is, why is it a sun behind the Messiah? Everything you see in regards to that picture. And the reason being, without the sun, there is no life on this planet. Everything dies. If that ball in the sky, that fire in the sky go out, everything on this spot dies. Everything cease to exist. Okay? That's the reason why. All right? That is truly the reason why. All right? Yeah, you need to, because in Hebrew, what I've learned, that in Hebrew, S-O-N and S-U-N is somewhat interchangeable, depends on how you read it. Now, Any scholars out there that is watching tonight, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But from what I've read and from what I understand right now, it's interchangeable. Depends on what you're reading and how it's written in Hebrew or even in the Greek. It just depends on how it's written. So, once again, I just want to welcome everybody to tonight's show. I hope that you are getting something out of this as I'm getting and learning from you. And we're gonna work on this thing together. We're gonna definitely work on this thing together. All right, Brother Hawkins, you got me laughing, but yes, sir, the summer solstice, I believe, will be coming soon. Yes, sir, considering that it would be June. Yes. So yes, you was just transitioned out of that winter part. Oh man, yeah. Of course, you know that winter, man. That nothing grows, nothing is alive coming from this earth, and when it goes, that's just that's just how it is, and that's truth. But we don't, as Masons, we don't put that together. We don't put them one to ones, twos to twos together. We don't, because a lot of us are so caught up in the I'm going to the party tonight, and without even considering what masonry is in its teachings, because masonry has some secrets in it. I don't care what nobody says, masonry. The only reason you can say that, and I've said it too, is because you don't indulge yourself. You're just scratching the surface of what masonry is. And when you do that, then that's what you're gonna see. But if you go past that, man, I'm gonna tell you, there are people in this organization. I'm gonna leave that alone because that's a whole nother level. I'm just gonna leave it alone because I'll be stepping on some toes. I know I will, But I would tell you this: that in Freemasonry, it is a beautiful organization. Okay, no doubt about it. But some of us have misused it. Period. We have. You can't tell me we have not. I don't care if you consider to be regular, irregular, bogus, or clandestine. Masonry has been misused by those who are in leadership. Period. And then there are those who really want to enjoy the craft for what it is and what it should be. At times get shunned. They do. When brothers seek to fellowship and to make the organization what it should be, they get shunned. They do. On both sides. I mean, throughout masonry, it happens. I've seen it, and I'm okay with that. You know why I'm okay with that? Because I'm secure within who I am. And when you get to that point to where you're secure where you're at, that's what you say. Excuse my language to anybody that's out there tonight. It is. You do. The story is talking about Hugh and Osiris, the sun disk of Kemet, okay, was stolen by the Greeks and Roman and Catholic. Yeah, there you go. Joseph, you should call in the show, brother. You're on point. I appreciate that. As Hugh dies, Seth takes over. Yes. Okay. All right. Now, all right. So we talking about something tonight. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's the summer solstice. It is taking so long to get here. Yes, sir. All Christianity tales have its roots in Kemet. The stories are the same, only the name change. Absolutely. But let me tell you, some of us are so hell bent on that today, it's hard for them to come out of that. It is simple. Some of us are so hell bent on that till it's hard to pull them out. That's why if you're a minister and you come into the fraternal order, your initiation is a little different. And the reason being is that you're supposed to be enlightened. A minister who comes into Freemasonry is supposed to be enlightened. That's why his initiation is different. A common person who comes into Freemasonry is seeking light and knowledge, all right? And when he comes in, or even when she comes in on the Eastern Star side, all right, and they go through their process, they supposed to become what you would call awakened, all right? Or some want to say You know how we say it at the end, you're supposed to, the light thing, a light bulb's supposed to go off. It's that aha moment that I was talking about the other day. It's that a Rubik's Cube moment to where you're able to open it up and say, Eureka, I found it. This is that time, that point and moment in Freemasonry when you are initiated, passed, and raised. That is that moment in time in Freemasonry for the minister when he comes in. He's already a light, he's already enlightened, but in becoming a Mason, it like comes together. Okay? That's the process. This is the reason why. Now, I would encourage you to go and read for yourself and find out for yourself. You may see something differently than I do, but I'm giving you what I've read, my understanding. And I often tell people, hey, look, if you find something, share it with me. It may, it change me up. It would change me up because I don't have it all, but together we can get it all. Okay? So as we look at Freemasonry in its esoteric teachings or somewhat occult teachings, because it has it, this is why it's important, as I've said all the time, to drop you some breadcrumbs along the way to be sure that you're able to come back and see where you've gone. All right. And this is important. This is why it's important for us to understand meditation too, because some of us don't never get there. How many of you actually meditate? Going to a quiet spot, you know, and that's what. Okay. All right, Miller. Mills. That's Mill. Okay, got you. All right, appreciate it. Brother Bay, I appreciate it. I think seeing people speak in tongues, falling out in church, and running around is more frightening than what you would see in masonry. But hey, that's just my opinion. Brother Bay, you know, this is a thing you have to look at, brother. It is not, the shouting and the passing out in church. Now, at some time and point, it's an alternate state. Look, I grew up in the Baptist church, all right? And probably most of us have. All right, we know when the preacher gets to, and I said, come on and go with me to my, how they hit that. When they hit that, and they're like, you know how they hit that, right? Look, man, there is that alternate state that a person can put himself or herself in. This is where that speaking in tongue thing comes in at, because it's encouraged. It's encouraging. When, oh, you should be able to speak in tongues. All of that's encouraging. And it is not to mark the church. I'm not marking. I'm just telling you what actually happens. Look, if you know anything about music, vibrations, this is all taking place. It's all on the vibrations of the music, the drums, everything that comes into play. This is what they used to do back when. The vibrations of music and drums. It raises that inner feeling, or that inner being comes up. I mean, it's true. I don't know what some say, the Holy Spirit or the Holy Ghost, but I'm saying that it's there. And what drums and music and vibration does, it raises it up. And there's another word for it. Dang it. I wish I had a couple of my lodge brothers here tonight. They'd be like cracking up trying to make sure I say these things correctly. All right. The church promotes the explorations of the spirit world, and there is a way of seeing the light. They do, Alex. They do promote it, but they also shunned it. Okay? They promote it at the same time they're shunning it. Because if I go to the church and I tell them this, and this, they're going to look at me like I'm crazy. That's truth. The fingers that were wearing our ring on represents the sun. Okay. That's why we should be open. That's why we should be open. Ancient Egyptian Freemasonry temples with all Egyptian rites as it should be. Nothing else will do. I can see that, Joseph. I can see that, but this is where we're at. We're in America. And what we're practicing now is an American rite of Freemasonry. Now, there's nothing saying that that it can't be changed. It is nothing saying that. It is just something that you would have to develop, or an individual has to develop a system for it. Okay, that's all it is. Because even in my primitive rites of Memphis Mizraim, okay, deals with a lot of esoteric teachings that goes a little bit beyond the Freemasonry teachings that I know of here in America. You know, and it does, and I like it. I enjoy that. The third eye. Astrology projected a waking up in a dream. Okay, to reach the spirit plateau. All right. Yes, Terrell. That's the word I'm looking for right there, brother. I'm not going to even try to pronounce it, but that's it. I'm just being honest. You know, that is true. All right, see, one is with a K and one is with a J. But I know what you guys are saying, and I appreciate it. I'm just reading some of your comments here. Seth is fighting for more time, darkness. Hugh is trying to bring the light, but he has a fight of his. Oh, yeah. Brother Joseph. That right there, Brother Joseph, a lot of brothers don't get into that side of Freemasonry where they're able to bring that full circle over into the Egyptian teachings and rites. Because as I've said before, you know that everything that ever happens to a leader or an individual that is spoken of in scripture, they went through Egypt. They did. Every last one, from Moses to Christ, all of them went through Egypt. They did. Now, I'm going to share this with you. Now, in my own personal readings that I've come across and that I have, okay, so we talk about Christ. Where did Christ go for those days that he spent alone? Okay, now, here's what I've read. I've read that he was initiated into the priesthood, okay, of Melchizedek. Okay, you got initiated into the priesthood, all right? That was his only way, all right? That was the only way for him to travel, was to get initiated into the priesthood. And if you know anything about the priesthood, yeah, it gets real deep. And where did he get initiated into the priesthood? In Egypt. Where? At the foot of the Sphinx. Now, this is just some of the books I've had. Once again, that's where he went. So, all right. Correct, Brother Fitzgerald, because all attributes of the Spirit are not meant for everyone. Oh, I like that. I missed something here. When in the spirit world, if you lack the knowledge, you will be attacked by unseen entities. This is why some in the church prohibit it. Well, if it's true, Alexander, Brother Alex Fitzgerald, if this is true, you know, if this is true, then we know why some churches, as you said, prohibit it. Because if you are a Methodist or a Presbyterian or Catholic, you don't get the shouting in the church. You don't get the speaking in tongues in church. You don't. Because I go to a Presbyterian church. Yeah, I do. I go to a Presbyterian church. I do. I sure do. And you don't get that there. You don't get the speaking in tongues, nor will you get the shouts or running through the, you won't get that. Nope, you won't get it. So at my church, I'm called a Baptarian. That means a cross between Baptist and Presbyterian, a Baptarian, okay? That's what they call me. 18 squares, you're right. They got spooked. I was talking to a mainstream white Mason the other day, and when I got to talking about Egypt and the feds, and he said, I don't read much, and crossed his arms. Ooh-wee. I've heard a Mason leaving the lodge if there was any books there other than the Bible at the altar. I've heard that too, and you really shouldn't. You really shouldn't. Because in some lodges, they don't even have the Bible on the altar. Listen to what I'm saying. In some lodges, they don't have the Bible on the altar at all. All you have is the three great lights, which is, no, you have two great lights and three lesser lights, period. That's what they have. And when you approach the altar, you need to look at it, and you would then define what degree they're on based upon the compass and square. Simple as that. This is why the Grand Lodge of England doesn't recognize the Grand Lodge of France, is because they remove the VSL off the altar. Now you must know this, that in the beginning of Freemasonry, there was no G in the center of that compass and square. Nowhere found, okay? It was added, okay? There was no G in the center of that square and compass, all right? And there was no Bible on the altar. So France is, in my opinion, France is practicing a more pure form of Freemasonry in that than anybody else. But because England is considered, they don't call themselves, but they are considered the Mother Grand Lodge per se. That's the title that is given to them by everybody else. And they pulled recognition. They said, no, we can't. No, you have to have a VSL. And that is not true. According to their rules, their regulations, if you're going to be recognized by them, you must follow their rules. Listen to me again. If you are going to be recognized by the Grand Lodge of England, they have their rules. And your rules must match their rules. Period. Then whatever amity or however you guys go about doing it, it happens. But if you don't match up to them, it's not going to happen. That's the truth. As a matter of fact, it is facts. This is not the truth, it's a fact. I speak in tongues all the time. Well, great. I hope there's someone there to interpret what you're speaking, my brother. And that's not to throw a punch or anything. But if you're going to speak in tongues, and I won't deny it, but there should be someone there to interpret what you're saying according to the scriptures. Okay? Can you translate what you're saying in English? Well, can you translate it at all? Because as we all know that when the disciples was in the upper room and they began to all speak in tongues, right? And it was like if it was fire on their heads, and everyone that was outside watching them was able to understand what they were saying. Now, when I say that, it is truly this. It is not that they spoke in an unknown language or tongue. They spoke in the tongue of the countrymen. So what happened was everybody that was around watching at that time was able to understand them, even though they spoke in various languages. That what was going on in the upper room. If you know the story about the disciples being in the upper room and they began to go through this, they began to transcend or to speak in different languages, but the countrymen was able to understand what they were saying, even though they weren't speaking in that person's language. It was a language that they were speaking in. If I speak English, somebody else speaks French, somebody else speaks German, somebody speaks this and that language. If you don't understand it, it's going to sound like they're speaking in some tongue or another. And that is what was going on in the upper room. English doesn't use the letter G, and lodges in UK are open and into apprentice, not Master Mason. Oh, okay. That's good to know. Yes, France is correct in not having a book on the altar. Absolutely. France has a VSL. It just isn't mandatory to have the Bible like, okay, if France has a VSL, then why did England pull recognition? Because now you have two Grand Lodges over in France. One is the Grand Orient of France, which recognize Freemasons for women. They do. And the other one is, it's not the Grand Orient. It's something else of France. And they are strict. They're the only Grand Lodge in France that is recognized by the Grand Lodge of England because they split. They did. They split. There ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, Black Masons have been doing that for years. We understand the process. Oh my God. I mean, really, it happens. You know, it happens. There's not one jurisdiction that has never had a split. Never. You can't name me one. And if you name me a mainstream Grand Lodge, I would disagree with you. Because I know of some independent lodges, white lodges. They have no connection to a Grand Lodge whatsoever. They're independent on their own words. Now, according to the word itself, clandestine, they are. Because their charter is not by a Grand. They're not chartered by a Grand. They're not managed, chartered, or looked over by a Grand Lodge. They're just independent lodge. Okay? And there are some white lodges out there like that, more than 3. Okay, and they are growing. Okay, so when you tell me, oh, mainstream Grand Lodges has never had a split, when a lodge leave and go do their own thing, okay, it's break off then. Call it what you want, but it's there. When Napoleon went to Egypt, he met with somebody initiated in the mysteries and had everybody in his upper officers class in the mysteries as well. Oh, really? I didn't know that. I appreciate you sharing that with me. The problem why France is different. France is way different. Before, I'm going to share this with you. It is easier for a Black Mason, period, from anywhere to go to France and visit. It's easy. It is easy. Trust me, it is easy. Oddfellows are a split organization. Yeah, I don't know. I do know about the Oddfellows. I do also know that it's very similar to Freemasonry, so I can agree with that. I will agree with that. Even the KKK. Boy, y'all got me cracking up tonight. Brother said even the KKK. So it just goes to show you, when people begin to throw out these things in regards to other organization and how they have their issues, man, look, everybody got their issues. Let's just be honest and to yourself. Every organization has their issues. The ideal is you as a Mason in your jurisdiction. I don't care whether you Prince Hall, Ancient Free, Modern Free, International, PHO. You are responsible in your jurisdiction and helping it move forward, helping it to become a stronger jurisdiction. However, this is where I disagree with some. You don't shit on another organization to make yourself look good. If you're doing that, then you're less than. I'm just letting you know straight up, and I'm saying it tonight. You know, and this is not in regards to my jurisdiction. I'm just saying that if you're going to shit on another organization to make yourself look good or better than, and think that you're better than because, no, you're less than. That's not how you do it. That's not how we do it. When I say that's not how we do it, that's not the essence of Freemasonry. That's some other teaching that you're getting. You know, that's truly some other stuff you're getting. You know, if you're being taught that in your jurisdiction, I wouldn't want to be a part of it. I wouldn't. Now, you may like that because it makes you feel big, you know. You feel like you're somebody. But no, that's not how I get down. That's not how a lot of brothers that I know get down. That's not how it works. The reason I said the Lions Club, Knights of Columbus, the Moose Lodge, the Oddfellows is a split organization because all of their members are from Blue Lodges who do not want to be part of the Blue Lodge. Ooh-wee, you know, y'all hitting on some points tonight. And I can only agree and see that from that point of view because I know a lot of Masons from various jurisdictions who are part of the Lions Club, who are part of the Toastmasters. You know, that's the oddest thing. When you are a part of the Toastmasters, the Lions Club, the Odd Fellows, and you are a Mason in these various jurisdictions, all of that stuff goes out the window. I'm serious. It goes out the window. It really, really does. Majority of the people do not know the exact definition of the clandestine Mason. Well, they don't, because they don't read. They don't know the strict definition for clandestine is a lodge that is operating independent of a Grand Lodge, because a Grand Lodge issues a charter or a warrant, which is really the same thing, or a dispensation to that lodge, okay? And then after they work on a dispensation, they receive their charter. So that lodge works up under that Grand Lodge. The Grand Lodge makes sure that the work of the Blue Lodge is in order. It makes sure that all of the lodges that is issued that charter is in work or in line with that Grand Lodge. Now, if that lodge doesn't adhere to the bylaws and constitution of any Grand Lodge, that is a clandestine lodge according to the definition of Freemasonry. Okay? Period. It is. You know, there's no disrespect to the brothers of that lodge, but there's just the definition for it. Freemasonry is older than 1717. Oh yeah, it is. It is. It is truly older than 1717. But once again, even when you go back and say that it's older than 1717, and we all can agree, most of us can agree that it's older than 1717. And when you look at that, you can see the teachings of Freemasonry in the that comes from the continent of Africa. We often speak about Egypt, but there are quite a few other countries over in Africa that has those same elements of Freemasonry within its culture. Okay? And that's true. But what happens is we're pretty fixated on Egypt. We are, because we talk about it a lot, and we know that that is just one of the main key points that has mystery schools and teachings in it. That's the way I feel about it. But there are other countries that has those same teachings and elements to it. As I spoke once before, when you look at the country of Haiti, when you look at Haiti and the aspects of Freemasonry on Haiti, some of us wouldn't want to go through those initiation rites, even though they're very similar, they're the same, but they get down a little different over in Haiti when it comes to Freemasonry and the Order of the Eastern Star. It's different, brothers. It's different, sisters. You can say whatever you want to say, but until you have seen it, until you have actually talked to someone who's gone through it, it's different. It's different, because when I was talking to the brother, I was like, I didn't go through that. I didn't do that. No. And it's not to say that I was wrong or right. It is not to say that he was wrong or right. It is clearly to say that Freemasonry as a whole, all right, the initiation rites, no matter where you go, is going to be a little different. Period. It is. I don't care if you got the same Grand Lodge in your Congress or in your conference or whatever you want to call it. You go to another jurisdiction within that whatever that something is going to be a little bit different than what you're used to. It just is. Okay, I'm going to let this post here show that it got blocked, but I'm going to show it. Hold on just a second. I'm just saying, I'm letting certain posts show. I am. So bear with me just for a second here. There you go. All right, it came up. You can check it out. All right, boom. So look, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. I certainly hope that you've gotten some out of this discussion tonight as far as esoteric teachings, as far as esoteric or occult teachings in Freemasonry, where we know for a fact that Mormonism has some elements of Freemasonry in it. It really does. If you are a Mormon, yeah, you have elements of your rights as you progress in Mormonism and Freemasonry. Now, I said earlier that Joseph Smith was the founder, and I was somewhat corrected, but I'm going to go back and read it again and make sure it was Joseph Smith that founded the Mormons, okay, and not the Jehovah's Witness. You know, I'm going to go back and I'm going to make sure I said that correct for myself. And I appreciate those who put in the chat, you know, about that individual, that individual. Okay. All right. So greetings to everyone. Brother Michael Foster, how you doing tonight, brother? You good? Hope everything is well with you and your family. Greetings. Hey sis, how you doing? You know what, sis? We're supposed to be getting together. I got some information for you. Glad you was able to tune in tonight. Yep. Sis, you know exactly who I'm talking about. 384. Hit me up. You got my number, sis. You can call me or you can text me and let me know. Wait a minute. This brother said, hey, Square, Acacia 816 squared. You said that the KKK has nothing to do with Masons or Masonry. I'm going to disagree, and I'm going to tell you why. Because a lot of Masons in the concept of the Knights of Klansmen, okay, the Knights of the Ku Klux Klansmen was a mix of Masonry and Christianity. Yes, the Knights of the Ku Klux Klansmen are a mixture of Christians and Freemasonry in their initiation, because they have an initiation. They do. That's the only reason I'm disagreeing with you. Other than that, you know, it is what it is. But they have the initiation. They have an initiation that's very similar to Freemasonry, and in the aspect of Christianity and the that whole concept. Okay, and now they even got, oh my God, the Klansmen even have registered themselves as a religion. You can look that up. Yeah, that's one you can just take home and just look up for yourself. Yeah, they have. I'm just saying. Strange. So look, as I get ready to break off tonight, I hope you've gotten some. Wait a minute. The Constitution and the rules and regulations in the Constitution are being followed by lodges that are under a Grand Lodge. That is correct. Talk about abusing occult knowledge. Oh my God, boy, that was a good one right there. Oh man. I feel this show, you can just feel the energy. Oh man, I appreciate that. I've seen some crazy pictures from Masons from Haiti that spooked the hell out of some Masons. And you are exactly right. You are so right, bruh. Man, dude, you have brothers and sisters of the Order of the Eastern Star. Y'all have no idea. If you don't travel outside of these United States and get a feel for Freemasonry, you're missing a lot. Plain and simple. You're missing a lot. I'm 15 miles from the border. You know, South America, Mexico. I'm 15 miles, right? It's different. It's different. I'm just saying it's different. You can say whatever you want to say. It's different. But the brotherly love is true. Down in the border, 15 going south, 805 going south, 5. Brother, once you go across them borders over into Mexico, it is different. I say that because it's truth. It's a fact. People can say whatever they want to say, but when you have that compass and square on in another country that doesn't mind you wearing it, it's different. There's some countries you better not put on a compass and a square. Nothing saying that you're part of any secret society. You know, that's truth. That is so true. What's BS, Mike? And it took a lot of Masonic symbols with him. I don't know. So, Brother Foster, okay, you okay? All right. I was just trying to find out what was the BS. They have everything to do with Masonry. Okay. Yeah, they do. I'm just reading some of the stuff. Joseph says, because in Egypt the craft was developed imperfect and the square was put to the drawings board. 47 problem of the, behold the pyramid, and you will not find a finer piece of architect on earth. You will not. The funny thing is that the bottom is a cube and on top is a triangle. Ooh, brothers, can you picture this? At the bottom of the pyramid is a cube, a square, and on top of that square sits a pyramid. Ah, that's deep. I'm just when you indulge, you know what? I'm going somewhere else. I gotta go, guys. I appreciate the sisters and the brothers for hanging on tonight. I appreciate you, and I'm gonna go, but we're gonna pick this up another time, another day. I appreciate you tuning in, as I've said before, but I'm gonna really ride this time. So look, everybody, thank you. I hope that you've had a happy Mother's Day, everyone. The KKK ritual comes from this spine check. Check it out in a National Geographic 1960 or 70 edition. Really? Ooh-wee. Talk about John Smith. Took a lot of symbolism with him when he opened up the Mormon church. Yeah. That's true. The pyramid is a reflection of the earth. Man, y'all pretty deep tonight. I don't even know if I want to go, but I got to. I know it's late on the East Coast, and I don't want to hold you long. And it's about almost 9 o'clock on the West Coast. So look, everyone, once again, for the third time, I thank you for tuning in. And if this show has done you any good tonight, this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. And this is why we're different. And I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you very much. We got to do this again. I just felt the yeah, bro. Look, I try to come on. For those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, third time, I try to come on like every other day, and sometimes that can be kind of difficult. But I try to come on about 7 o'clock. Sometimes I come on a little earlier. But what I'm going to try to do is give enough notice and time to where I'm really going to come on so people can really kind of tune in, because, my time is like, I need to get better with the time and coming on. But I appreciate those who do tune in, and I appreciate the chats. I really do, and I think we really stayed on topic tonight. I think it was a great show. I just the team from Lodge number 147. Welcome aboard, and I'm gonna tell you who to get in contact with. Give me a call, 619-985-1184. Text me, because I'm about to crash out. So you can text me at that number. I'll make sure I get back with you. I'm gonna have you in contact with another brother and let him deal with the membership as far as that concerned. I'm doing a little too much, so we'll make it happen for you, and we'll go from there. So there you have it. Thank you. Good night, everyone, and whatever you do, stay out the bushes and keep your light on. Peace.